What is up, my friends? You're all very, very welcome along to tonight's stream. We have a lot to get through. We're going to be discussing the latest on the Fabinho situation, the Jordan Henderson situation. Of course, we will be having a little look at what is going on with Liverpool's bid for Romeo Lavia. As always, my friends, this is your show. We want you to let us know what you want to talk about. Comments are open for everybody. All we ask is that you are respectful towards myself and each other, and we'll all get along just fine. So, how are we all doing today? We good? I hope you're all well. First question I see is, has the FPL code been sent out? I got it. I actually prepared today, mate. I have it here for you. 1 second. I'll get that code into the chat there for you. And of course, the FPL is available for you all. If you want to join, we'd love to see you in there. So look, loads to get through. Yeah, sorry, a little bit confused with a couple of things on the screen. There we go. That makes that happy. Good. So, what do we want to start off with tonight, my friends? I can give you updates, of course, on what's going on with Fabinho and Henderson, but I'm guessing a lot of you guys would like to know what's happening with Romeo Lavia, right? And I've got a few takes on this, as I'm sure that you'll expect. So, what has happened is Liverpool, according to David Ornstein and a couple of other sources, have opened with a £35 million bid with £2 million in add-ons, which was rejected by Southampton. Now, I can put your mind at ease a little bit because I do believe Liverpool are looking to go back in there with a second bid. But my question is this, and I think it's a fair question. If Lavia was the one all along, what are we doing? Why are we waiting this long? Why are we denying Jurgen Klopp more time in the training pitch with him? And why are we nickel and diming? Get it done. If you want a player, go get him. No messing about, no dawdling, no waiting weeks. He's clearly one who Klopp wants. Get it done and get it done quickly. That's my point on this. It's weird. It's weird that we've waited all summer for a player that we spoke about at the very start of the summer. And this isn't because Lavia hasn't been convinced. Read any article you want. It will tell you the personal terms of the player, not a problem whatsoever. So all we're doing right now, in my humble opinion, is sitting around and inviting Chelsea or Arsenal or somebody else to come in and try and gazump us. And Manchester City are looking at this situation as well. Because remember, he was a Manchester City player. They sold him to Southampton. And they have a buyback clause which kicks in next summer. But of course, they could also just match any offer that Liverpool put in. So, I don't understand the thought process at our club. I really don't. If this was a player we hadn't spoken about before, or a situation like Barella, or we were waiting to see if somebody came onto the market, fair enough. But this has been consistent all summer. Lavia's price was set, what Southampton wanted, and Liverpool would have had their valuation. I don't for the life of me understand why the first bid is going in now on the 24th and 25th of July. It's mental. Craig ranted, and what was this one? And we went in. You were on it, Craig. Oh, you know what? There's a joke in our Discord group about that, mate, as well, about when I do have a little bit of a rant, sometimes an offer goes in, but that was just purely coincidental, of course. So, Craig, Lavia is a £20 million player. If I was Liverpool, I'd walk away, said Vincent Heath. Do you know what, mate? It's a fair point. Like, £50 million, it's easy for us to just go £50 million, pay the £50 million. And you do have to have some value in it. But I feel like we've not done either. We've not overpaid, or we've not gone in early. We've just done the worst of everything and let the situation become more complicated. Let Southampton become more confident as the window goes by that there's going to be more clubs interested. And I don't know what we're hanging around for. Look to the very start of the transfer window. All of us, myself included, were speaking about Thuram, Lavia, Kone, and a few others. So we kind of had a fair idea where the targets were. Now, we were all thinking, if there's no offer gone in yet, maybe something's happening behind the scenes. Maybe the club are working on something that we aren't privy to. But no, apparently not. So what the hell have we been doing? That's the question that I have to everybody. What the hell have Liverpool Football Club been doing over the past 3-4 weeks? It's ridiculous. It's embarrassing. And it's intentionally making the situation worse. I don't understand it. I don't know what Liverpool's ceiling is for Romeo Lavia, but I do agree with anybody who thinks anything over 45 million's overpaying. I'm with you on that. But if he's the one that Klopp wants, get it done. I've said one thing consistently throughout this transfer window and many other transfer windows. I want who Jurgen Klopp wants. Jurgen Klopp clearly made a play for Lavia. Jurgen Klopp was clearly instructed the recruitment team that Lavia is the one. So what are we doing? Why are we still sitting here talking about bids for a player that we could have bid for and been a lot further along in this process 4 or 5 weeks ago? It just streaks of stupidity. Relax, Craig, at least we put a bid in. No, I can't relax, Kareem, because I've seen this situation play out before, my friend, and it's embarrassing. It is just embarrassing. You say show some positivity. I'm all for positivity, but I'm very confused. So I haven't come on ranting tonight. I don't think I've raised my voice yet, but I do feel like it's a bit weird. Should have gone in a 50 million end of. Well, if we want them, Rob, we should have gone in with a number that we knew Southampton would take. So, you know, I would ever go in with a no. I'd never go straight in for the asking price in anything in life. Why is there so many people having a pop at me for being negative? I'm not being negative. I'm giving you my perspective on the situation. I'm very confused. Like, I don't know if there's people in here who are just having a pop at me tonight for no reason, but I'm going to keep saying what I say, and I'm going to give you my valid reasons. Does nobody else think it's a bit odd that the player we've wanted since the start of the window, the first bid's only going in now when we're 2 weeks and 4 days or 2 weeks and 5 days away from the first game of the season with no DM? And it's not like the first game of the season is a nice handy one at home to, I don't know, pick a team that we usually beat. It's a difficult one away at Stamford Bridge against a team with a revitalised squad, a new manager, and probably a good bit of positivity around the club at the minute. So, yeah, I don't get it. I don't get why we've intentionally not given the manager the time of the training pitch so we can save, what, 3, 4, 5 million? Is that what we're at as a club? We're nickel and diamond so much. I don't get it. Lavia won't get a shirt at City. Arsenal totally stocked up. So I do agree with you, James, that if I'm Lavia, I'm thinking, well, City sold me once. They could have just loaned me out and brought me back. So I actually don't know what way to feel about the interest from Manchester City, because I don't know how serious it is about them wanting to come back to get him. But I don't understand, again, why Liverpool are hanging around. Now, on Jordan Henderson, I'm sure you guys have probably seen this today in social media. Jordan Henderson has said his goodbyes to his Liverpool teammates. We believe he's filmed his goodbye video as well in the centre circle at Anfield. And it looks like Jordan Henderson is going to depart in the next 24, 48 hours. So no concerns on that one. That'll bring in £13 million for Klopp, and Henderson will move on. The Fabinho situation, well, you don't need me to tell you that that's a little bit tricky at the minute. Plenty of journalists posting about the fact that Liverpool are, that the deal is in jeopardy, but nobody seems to know why. So it's nothing to do with the Bulldogs, it's nothing to do with the Frenchies, but we don't know why this deal, as has been reported, is in jeopardy. It's a weird one. Because at one point, David Ornstein said the deal's in jeopardy, and then he goes on to speak about the fact that all parties concerned still want the deal to happen. So I don't know if David Ornstein's been a little bit sensationalist here, but again, it's just weird. Is it going to happen or is it not going to happen? And by the way, I'm fine to keep Fabinho at this point. In fact, Fabinho and bringing in Lavia would probably help us. But uncertainty, again, is not our friend here. So I don't know what to expect at the minute. I don't know what's happening here with Fabinho. Anybody got a take on this one? Fabinho comes to his senses. So it's weird because, like, usually if something's in jeopardy, you'd know the reason. It would be to do with wages. It would be to do with a clause in a contract or how the money's being paid or something like that. But there's been no indication of what the actual reason is for this potential hiccup in the Fabinho deal. So I'm at a loss to figure that one out. What I can say is, and again, I'm sure you guys have read this, Fabinho has acted impeccably, apparently, through all of this, been extremely respectful, been very good towards the club, and that's lovely to hear. It really is. So I'm sure that deal, if all parties concerned want it to happen, will happen. Craig, I'm with you. Very stupid start to the summer. Klopp said he wanted everybody, but but here we are. So let me say, the people at the start of the stream who came in to say I was being negative, I'm 100% convinced that they're trolls. I'm 100% convinced that they just came in to have a pop tonight, no matter what I said, because I wasn't ranting. Like yesterday, I was ranting. Today, I was giving an update, and people are calling me negative. I don't get that. But again, people are free to make their own opinions, but mine aren't going to change. I want to go through some of your comments now as well, my friends. Maybe if Klopp doesn't know who to get, but we do know who to get. Like, Lavia has been somebody we've been linked to for quite a while. PIF focused on other deals apparently. Yeah, we did discuss this internally in the Channel X Pulse. So with the amount of deals that they are looking to get done this summer, it kind of makes sense that some of them are going to drag on. Like, if you look at it, this isn't like one club, let's say Liverpool or Manchester United or Arsenal, looking to get deals done. This is somebody who this is an outlet who have taken over 4 clubs and have a load of transfers going on for them as well as the other transfers. So understandably, yes, it could take a little bit of time. But from our perspective as the selling club, we need some certainty as well with regards to what is it definitely going to happen, because, you know, time is of the essence. Craig, you're bang on, mate. Same thing every season, leaving everything till the last minute. But the weird thing is, Clooney man, we're constantly told how much Klopp wants them in early to work with them on the training ground, and how we've been planning for the transfer window for a really long time. But planning for the transfer window for a really long time doesn't lead into, yes, we got McAllister, that was being worked on. We were openly told that Szoboszlai, that deal was, when it presented itself as an opportunity, we moved quick. So that clearly wasn't in the long-term planning that we'd heard was happening. So what has the long-term planning been, is my question. How can you know that you need to rebuild this summer and approach it this slowly? It's very weird, because we always knew this wasn't going to be a summer where we're having to sell a load of players to buy a load of players. We weren't going to have to cash in on Mo. We weren't going to have to cash in on one of our centre-backs or anything like that. We knew that this was the buying summer, not really the selling summer. Now, yes, 100%, the stuff around Henderson and Fabinho could have come as a bit of a shock, particularly Jordan Henderson. But that still shouldn't change the plan. We all knew weeks ago. So I don't understand why we're not pushing ahead with it. Are Southampton getting too big for their boots? No, look, Southampton, to be fair, have been consistent in their valuation. Now, they can hold out for whatever they want. If they feel like Liverpool aren't getting to the number, well, maybe Chelsea will get to the number. You sound more Irish tonight. I did say to you, I had a bit of an iffy throat and nose, so I don't know. Yeah, good. I'm happy to sound Irish because that's where I'm from. So I have a little update for you guys, and I'm going to be sincere and honest, as I always am. The Cardiff, we're not going to go ahead with. We're going to pull the Cardiff show. Quite simply is the Dublin show, it's not selling. It's not doing well, and that's okay. You know, maybe I got a bit ahead of myself. Maybe I got too big for my boots. But we're not going to take a financial risk on a second show. So we'll take the hit for the Dublin show. Tickets are always still available if you want to come and see us, and I hope that you do. But to say, you know, we're going to lose a fair chunk on it, we are, but that's okay. That's on us, not on you. But I'm just giving you guys an update on exactly why and what's happening, because, you know, I always try to be upfront and honest with you on these things, and hopefully it's something we revisit down the line when the channel continues to grow a little bit. So yeah, apologies on the Cardiff one. The Dublin show, even though tickets aren't moving well, we are going to do it because I know there's people travelling from the UK, from the Netherlands, from America, and I wouldn't do that to people. So lovely, looking forward to that. Hope to see you there. Right, what's the counter offer? There is going to be a second offer, so that much I can tell you. I don't know what it's going to be. Truly, I don't. And I've always been honest about that with you guys. I don't know the numbers Liverpool are going to put forward. But there will be a second offer. You know, guesstimations, I think we go up to the 40 and then maybe try to add on 5 or 6. I don't know, in all honesty. Right, let me go back up because there's a few super chats, or a super chat I have to get back to. 1 second. Where are we? Right, irrespective who we sign, going into season 3 weeks away with a 20-year-old central defensive midfielder who's yet to train is worrisome. We're also handicapped with budget, and that comes from Gokul, who is another long-term viewer of the channel, mate. So thank you so much, Gokul, for your super chat. And yeah, it doesn't make sense to me either. And is Lavia even 20 yet? I thought he was only turning 20 in the next week or two. But it's a risk in itself. So you'd probably want to counteract that with a second one. Look, I do think we move on this Lavia thing now, and I think we'll get it done. But I just don't understand why we waited so long. Craig, the live show wasn't your idea, was it? No, it was the viewer's idea. But sometimes in the real world, mate, when people go, "Oh yeah, do this, you should do this, you should do this," sometimes it just doesn't work out, and that's okay. That's no problem. Would 43 million for Lavia do it? Truly, James, I don't know. Like, Southampton are saying 50, 50, 50, and of course, they're the selling club. They've every right to put a price on their player. Um, yeah, I would imagine that we're gonna go in closer to the 50, but like the real question we have to ask here is he actually worth 50 million pound? The answer has to be no. Like, we can talk about potential and we can talk about it long term, but if we're talking about it on face value for what he's achieved in his career so far, he's not a 50 million pound footballer. He could very well become a 50 million pound footballer, but this is why the transfer market at the minute is so crazy. You used to pay for a player's experience. So if you were bringing somebody in 24, 25, 26, you would pay a premium for the experience. But now, as buying clubs, you're almost paying a premium for the experience, and then you're paying a premium for anything of a promising youth. So it's just getting more and more costly. Now, I'm not trying to defend the owners. I want them to get the finger out. But I still just can't get my head around the idea why Liverpool didn't go from the initial wanting the player to putting that bid in earlier and not allowing other clubs to potentially come into the mix. Because, as I said to you guys the other day, West Ham, now it looks like they're going to look for McTominay for maybe their DM, or maybe other clubs will come back in. Chelsea are still working away in Caicedo, but they're also keeping an eye on Lavia. Manchester City, as I mentioned, keeping an eye on Lavia. So the longer it drags on, the more other clubs who are missing out on their targets might look to go in as well. So I'd like to see Liverpool go in and get this deal done very quickly now. And I hope it happens that way. Alex Cooper, thank you for the super chat, mate. Said, if we don't sign two midfielders, then why loan Carvalho when he can play in midfield? So I did read the transcript from Fabio Carvalho and his situation. And he said basically, Liverpool don't play with a 10. Leipzig play with two 10s. And he's going to feel more comfortable there. I don't see a way back for Carvalho at Liverpool based on the vibes of what's being said. You know, it feels like there's a little bit of snidiness, a little bit of an undertone there. So I really think we'll see Fabio Carvalho getting sold, maybe to RB Leipzig, maybe to somebody else by the end of next season. West Ham want James Ward-Prowse from Southampton too. Yeah, well, they can have him. They can have him. I don't know if I'm in a minority, but I've never been excited by the idea of a Ward-Prowse transfer. Any news on Kone and Thuram? Really? No. You know, I'd love to have... Now, on Kone, of course, there's a train of thought, science and gaming joker, that, you know, Liverpool could be waiting to see the extent of that injury. Has anybody had an update, by the way, on what's going on with Palhinha? Because I know that West Ham are also anxiously waiting to see if that is the extent of his injury. Now, somebody said, do you have anything on Joshua Kimmich? Yes, I do have some stuff on Kimmich. I want to get to this super chat from Rob before I forget, though. We should look at Hanko from Feyenoord, left centre-back. Thank you for your suggestion, Rob. Or is it Bob or Rob? Bob. Sorry, Bob. I'll definitely look into him. I'm not going to lie, mate. Don't know much about him. But the left centre-back situation's gone really quiet. Ethan Jones, thank you. Said, love the content. Keep up the good work. You deserve much more love and support. Wishing you well. Appreciate you, Ethan. Look, I'm extremely grateful for the support and the viewers I have, man. And hopefully our family continues to grow here. Right, anyway. Let me get to Joshua Kimmich, because I know a lot of people were asking me about Kimmich. And it's not good news, I'm afraid. I wish it was, but it isn't good news. So Joshua Kimmich has been speaking, and he said, I'm very certain that I'll play the coming season at FC Bayern. I have no other plans. So, from the player's perspective, his mindset there seems to be that he's going to be staying at Bayern Munich. So that's one that, on the face of it, we can put to bed. Eugene said he needs surgery, apparently. Yeah, that was my fear, Eugene, around Paulinho because, we'd seen with Harvey Elliott when he dislocated his shoulder, he was out for a prolonged period as well. So unfortunate that for Paulinho. But look, I wish him a speedy recovery. Also, want to just say very quickly, LeBron James' son had a cardiac arrest, 18 years of age. Now, the good news is he's stable, he's not in critical condition, and it looks like he'll be absolutely fine. But again, just want to send some love to the James family. Obviously, he's one of the ownership group of Liverpool, and I can't imagine what he would have been going through to hear the news about his son having a cardiac arrest. So, well wishes and love and support, obviously, to the James family. Telling us what we already know. Okay. What do you want me to do? Make stuff up, Baron? You know? I don't know what you want, dude. I can't come on here. Well, I could come on here and lie to you and make shit up, but I refuse to. So, feel free to go and watch another channel if you're not happy, mate. I'm giving you the news that I have, and I'm not claiming to have exclusives every day of the week. I'm a fan channel, mate. I'm not a journalist. Has that? I hope I pronounced that correctly, my friend. Welcome to Anfield Agenda FC. By the way, we've got 2,400 people watching at the minute. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, let me say thank you for watching. You were very welcome here with us. Please do hit that subscribe button. Drop a like on the video. And of course, let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Keep them coming. Danny said, we need two midfielders and a centre-back. Anything less will be a mistake. Yes, sir. Absolutely agree with you. I think most of the chat here will agree with you. It's been anything but the big rebuild that we were promised. I can't complain about the two signings we've made, nor do I want to. I love them. Brilliant signings. Very impressed with both of them. McAllister, I think, is going to be exceptional for us. But, it's just dragging on. It's dragging on and we're getting closer and closer. The boys are travelling over, obviously, for the games over in Singapore. That's going to be Leicester City on Monday, I think, or Sunday. And then on Wednesday, Bayern Munich. And then it's one more friendly pre-season game at Deepdale, at Preston's ground. And then it's time for the Premier League season. So, yeah, there's not a whole lot of time left. What do you think of Andre from Flamenco? So we were linked with him very quickly. Then we were very quickly told that link wasn't true. But I won't lie, dude. When I looked at him, I was quite excited with what I seen, particularly with the style of football that they play and his impact in that number 6 role. And I got really excited. Now, I don't know if it's just because, you hear about Liverpool being linked to a Brazilian and you get excited about it. I just got here. What's the story with Lavia? So two things, mate. Firstly, it's been widely reported that Liverpool had a £37 million offer for Romeo Lavia turned down from Southampton. That offer was believed to be £35 million up front with £2 million in add-ons. That was reported initially, I believe, by David Ornstein. So Jason Wilcox is leading the negotiations on the Southampton side, and he's insisting that they want a £50 million deal for Romeo Lavia. So let's wait and see. I've been informed, and I've read elsewhere as well, that Liverpool will go back in with a second bid. Now, as of right now, I don't know what that second bid could be. I don't know the exact amount, and I'm not going to make it up for you. Great vids, Anfield Agenda. Keep it up. Love the work. You definitely deserve more love. We'll get it, dude. We'll get it, man. The fun starts when the season starts. And look, I'm not somebody who's ever unhappy with the lot I have in the world. I'm incredibly grateful for the support I have. Yeah, I'm always in debt to you guys. You know that. Any updates on Colwill? Yes, a little one. LFC edits. So I wasn't sure whether to bring this up or not because I don't want to give people false hope. But there have been a few little bits and pieces doing the rounds that have suggested maybe Liverpool haven't lost all hope of signing Colwill. I think it's very doubtful on it personally, but some people are writing that there's still a chance, and I hope that there is. They've got us over a barrel, no disrespect. Sort of. If it's clear that that's the one Klopp wants, then Yeah, because at this point, like, do you walk away from Lavia and look elsewhere? Do you go down the list to number 2 or 3? Which is why I've said, and I started the stream with this, and I was very confused about why people were calling me angry and negative, because I really wasn't. But I don't get why it's taken this long to put the first bid in. A bid that we knew we wanted to put in a long time ago. It just doesn't make sense to me, playing the waiting game. Varady for CDM, what's your opinion? I've always been a fan of Varady as a player. But now, no, not 40 million for a 30-year-old who's had a lot of injuries over the past couple of seasons. Like, he's a brilliant football player. Really, really slick, really good to watch. But he just doesn't play enough at the minute. And unfortunately, I'd pass up on it. But God, a few years ago, man, I'd have bitten your hand off with the chance to sign him for Liverpool, or the chance to see him at Liverpool. What's happening with Fabinho? No problem. Let me go over this one for you, K Games, and welcome in, mate. Great to have you in. So you can find all of this, by the way, in the Anfield Agenda Twitter account, where Connor is now back and posting out regularly about the latest updates and stuff like that. So please do go over and check out our own Anfield Agenda Twitter account. But Fabinho's proposed transfer from Liverpool to Al Ittihad is in jeopardy, according to, again, David Ornstein. The 29-year-old midfielder was targeted in a £40 million package, and all parties remain committed to getting the deal done if possible. But nowhere does it say why. And that's what's confused me, Connor, and other people I've spoken to. Like, if everybody wants that Fabinho deal done, and if the player's been, you know, very respectful, as has been reported over the whole thing, that's great to hear. Why is it in jeopardy? Like, yeah, I don't get that. Like, what's the reason? What's the holdup? It's not the dogs. We've been clearly told that. The fee is the fee. It's 40 million quid. So I don't know what's taken it so long, or more importantly, what's putting it in jeopardy. Now, I wouldn't worry, because if Fabinho doesn't come, or doesn't move to Al Ittihad, you've still got the option of Bayern Munich, or you've still got the option of keeping him at Liverpool, I guess. Do you think we will pull out and not pay the 50? I'm kind of in agreement with the guy earlier on who said Southampton kind of have us over a barrel, because I don't want us to pay the 50. I don't think at this point of his career he's worth the 50, but I don't know what the alternative is. So pay it. Pay what it takes to get it done if he's the one Klopp wants. That's the way I'd look at it. Anything else, I feel like it's just strange. Fabinho could have potentially failed his medical. No, I don't believe that's the case. And I don't know why he would have failed his medical either, to be fair. He's not got any issues I'm aware of. And I'm sure we'd have gotten that news if there was an issue with the medical. We've bottled it again, Craig. What are your thoughts on FSG Masterclass? Look, I'm not an FSG fan, mate. You should know this by now. I'm somebody who has a lot of issues with FSG. But I'm just confused. I'm confused as to who the fuck's pulling the strings here. You know? I'm confused because why the big gap between the first two signings, all the momentum gone from the window, and then to come back to put an offer in from somebody we've known we've wanted from the very start of the window. It's just weird. Alex Cooper, thank you for the super chat, mate. I bet the only one he spent is from sales. Oh, so I made a point last night, Alex, and, you know, again, people said I was being negative, but I said, right now, the way it's looking is we've spent 95 million, and I know that could go up higher with the add-ons, and we're about to recoup 53, plus the money for Nat Phillips, which is 60, and shock horror, the remaining amount there is the usual FSG transfer window amount, which is 35 or 40 million net. And that's not good enough for a rebuild. That's not good enough for the big summer. And again we've to point out, it's 8 players out, 2 players in so far. And we were a squad last year that wasn't big enough. We were a squad that didn't have the numbers and depth in midfield. We've not increased that depth. You can definitely say that we've increased the possibility of getting more minutes from players, because we're bringing in younger players and players who aren't as injury prone. But we definitely haven't increased the squad depth there, whichever way you look at it. Joseph Kernow, thank you for joining Anfield Agenda Ultras, mate. Appreciate you. Right, some more questions. Hey, Craig, do you think for the next transfer window we should go for two centre backs? That's from Alex. So, Alex, whatever happens in this transfer window regarding centre backs, let's say we got the left centre back in, we're going to have to go in next window anyway for another one because we know that Joel Matip's out of contract then. So we're going to be a centre back down. Now, maybe Kwanzaa in that time progresses. Maybe Sepp van den Berg has a really good season and comes back into consideration. But I don't disagree with you. As it stands, on the face of it, yes, I would say we need two centre backs over the next year. We have a global level CDM we don't want to spend. How do we get a world-class CDM? So, Fabinho, it's hard to give a judgment on Fabinho's ability at the minute because we had a mixed season of him last year. Finished the season quite strongly, but had a really difficult point where he looked like he was running in sticky toffee pudding. So, can I be really frank about it? I wouldn't mind a situation where that deal does collapse and Fabinho stays and Lavia is signed. I feel way more comfortable going into the season knowing we had an experienced number 6, albeit one that maybe will not be as good as he was, and the youngster who, of course, can work with him, learn from him. That would be a scenario I'd be happy with, but I don't think the club would be happy with potentially losing that £40 million. Vix X said low-key would like Gay. No problem with him. Yeah, he's somebody Liverpool have looked at from Crystal Palace, definitely. But again, a lot of admiring, a lot of flirting, a lot of looking, not much activity. And that's the problem. Because people then go, you're moaning, or hang on, Craig, we'll get it done. But we've seen this video before, haven't we? We've been through these windows before where benefit of the doubt was given. It drags on. Excuses get made. Promises get made for next time. Rinse and repeat. We cannot, as fans, allow that to happen this summer. We need to be vocal. We need to put the pressure on. We need to be on social media saying, John W. Henry, where's the money, John? Where's the money? Klopp needs it. The club needs to strengthen. We don't want another season in the Europa League. We don't want to be uncompetitive. We want to be at it from the start of the season. We need to get off to a good start. We need to start acting like a big club. IWWE, thank you. Love you guys too. Appreciate your support. Please make a left centre-back video. It would be complete guesswork about who we'd be linked to, mate. I mean, I've no problem doing the video, of course. But I'd be just pulling out names randomly. Because the only ones I can tell you, sincerely, would be Gay, Inacio, and Colwill. Now, there's subjectivity around Per Schurz. There's, a belief that Liverpool are interested, but that belief has been dragged on for a year or two. There's talk that there was a bid put in for Per Schurz last year that was rejected, but I've yet to find confirmation of that from our side. Amrabat, I've seen somebody mention in the chat there. Look, there's a report today that says Amrabat doesn't want to come to Liverpool and that he has potentially already signed an agreement to join Manchester United for about 30 million quid. That's coming out of Italy. Corriere della Sera, I think it is. So, yeah, either way, it doesn't look like he wants to come to Liverpool or will be coming to Liverpool. So I think we can rule out Sophie and Amrabat at this point. Craig, stop making sense. I know, I should just rant. I tried to be honest with you guys. I don't want to come on. I could come on here with clickbaity headlines and talk shite for an hour, but I like to try and break down the situation with common sense, or at least what I believe is common sense. What's your honest predictions for this season if we get Lavia and a centre back? So Lavia and a centre back, what's my predictions? Top 3. Yeah, top 3, but probably not within striking distance of a title challenge. Like, here's how I look at the upcoming season. I see a Manchester City team without Kevin De Bruyne also with an aging Kevin De Bruyne, who are losing some of their players themselves, who have had a very long, busy, successful season last season, so could potentially have a hangover from that and may make a slow start. I look at Arsenal and I see a club that were unhappy to finish second and have kicked on and want to make sure that they can continue to progress. I see a Manchester United that are strengthening. So yeah, it's worrying because once again, we're nickel and diming. Craig, stop moaning. The window's not over yet. Have faith in the process. No, no, and no. So, fuck you is part one. Secondly, I've seen this play out before. I'm not willing to give FSG the benefit of the doubt. I will never give FSG the benefit of the doubt. I'm right. You're wrong. Hope that clears it up for you, my friend. And also, adios. Because you're clearly just trying to poke at me and wind me up by saying, Craig, stop moaning. 95% of what I do on this channel is ranting. So, yeah. See you, mate. Bye-bye. If only we had Man City and Newcastle money. With Newcastle, though, I don't know if this is just me, but I found Newcastle's business quite clever. Like, I wouldn't certainly suggest that Newcastle are spending money to beat the band. Mods, I'm doing your job for you tonight, so thanks for that one. Anasio or Colwill? Colwill, 100%. Every single day of the week. Screw the process, I won trophies. Yeah, see, this believe in the process thing, that would make me suggest that there's a process. I don't think that there's a process. So that's what process am I believing in? That's my answer to you guys who want to say believe in the process. What's the process? Because we've seen the process play out in previous windows, and the process has been that there was no process and that we were still frustrated at the end of the window, and we ended up with Arthur Melo. I don't want another season where we end up with an Arthur Melo type. I want a season where Liverpool are back to potentially winning trophies, because we've got 3 years left of a once-in-a-generation manager, and we need to make use of him. And I want to win. I want Liverpool to win. So I'm going to keep moaning at the owners. I'm going to keep putting pressure at the owners. And anybody who doesn't like it, watch somewhere else if you don't enjoy what I'm saying. I don't care. I'm me. I'm not changing. My belief systems are my belief systems. And I'm happy to debate and can talk about anything. But this is how I feel about our ownership group. And I felt this way for a long time. So, I think as Liverpool fans, we're too patient, if that makes sense. I'd really love Barella and Lavia if both Fabinho and Henderson leave, said Ali Abdallah Ali. Mate, that'd be a great transfer window. I'd be all over that one. Will you cover the Champions League this season? Oh, that hurts, man. That hurts. No, because one of the promises I made when we came back to YouTube was that we focus 100% on all things Liverpool. So I'll be watching the Champions League like everybody else, but yeah, I won't be. We won't be covering it on the channel because, unfortunately for us, we're not part of it. FSG have no ambition. I'm with you. I'm with you on that, Roger, and I felt that way for a long time. Craig, this homegrown rule is messing our transfer business to a certain degree. What's your thoughts? So, I hear you on the transfer thing, but I don't know if there's a misconception about the homegrown rule or, if it's just spoken about weirdly at times. But the homegrown rule is as such. You have to have minimum 17 non-homegrown players. Excuse me. You can have a maximum 17 non-homegrown players at your club. And if you would like the full 25-man complement of a Premier League club, you have to have at least 8 homegrown players. What you don't need to worry about counting as players under the age of 21 because they fall into the youth category. You would hope that those players in the long term, when they hit 21, like Lavia will, would fall into the homegrown category. But we're definitely losing a lot of players and have lost a lot of players from that category. So yes, again, this is why I spoke at the start about having 8 players out and 2 players in. I disagree with you about FSG, but it's your opinion. No, I respect that, mate. And I respect the way you've posted that. That's absolutely no problem, sir. You are, I'm always up to hear dissenting voices, and especially as you've so kindly put it. Look, FSG are not the worst owners in the world, mate. I've always tried to give them credit for the good stuff. The new stands, bringing in Jurgen Klopp, the training ground. But you also have to think about this from the point of view of, it's also the really, business savvy thing to do. Putting in the new stands will increase the value of the asset. It's a win-win, and it's not going to come out of their pocket in the long term. The club will repay it with the extra revenue. So the good stuff usually has a reason behind it. And that reason isn't the goodness of their heart or an affinity or a love for Liverpool Football Club. It's cold, hard business decisions. And on those decisions, I'm with you. On the other things, I'm not. On the way that we are afraid to take on any debt to buy players, I'm against FSG on that. Callum Spence said, love the content, keep it up. So frustrating there's no FSG out protesting like the Manx have with the Glazers. What do you think? So, we are not... Well, I don't mean to anger you on this one, but we're a long way from the nonsense that the Glazers have done. We're not even in the same ballpark for me. So, and that I think is the problem in itself, Callum, is that there are still people that looks at the good things that FSG have done, that look at the trophies that have been won. And you have to bring that into the conversation, to be fair. But I think that they've milked this too long. And I think that they've sat on their hands now, and that they haven't pushed on, and that they don't show a real desire to win. That's my take on it. I just don't think they show a desire to win. I think they just show a desire to increase their assets value. And if you can win on top of that, that's a bonus for them. But I don't see that being the very first thing that they want. I want Liverpool to win, not compete. I want us to win. And I want our owners to do everything possible to make that happen. Now, of course, I don't want Liverpool put into crazy amounts of debt that could see us in trouble. But if plan A isn't working, change the plan a little bit. They're worried about getting more Cowboys again in as owners. Yeah, I totally get that. Totally understand that, Kingsman now. But that can't be the excuse all the time, They do have to be called out. Opinions on Sangar from PSV, not good enough for Liverpool, is my opinion, in all honesty. I've seen lots of people speak about him. I don't know if it's just fan talk, because I've certainly not seen any links to Liverpool from people that I'd give some weight to. When do you think FSG will sell Liverpool? So my thought process on that has always been, was it Alex? One sec, I just want to make sure that I take the time to... yes, it was Alex. So Alex, my take on that's always been, I think that they're so scared that there's still profit to be rinsed out of Premier League ownership. And there's projections that there's going to be 6 or 7% growth over the next few years on marketability of football clubs and growth from that regard. So I don't see them selling anytime soon. And as John W. Henry himself has said, what have we sold over the past 10 years or 15 years as a business? They add to their portfolios. They don't look to sell off assets. So what I think is going to happen is at some point we'll get this minority stake sold to somebody, and I'm throwing Liberty Media out there as an example because it's the only one I can think of off the top of my head, but we'll see somebody like Liberty Media come in who will be able to open up other revenue streams for Liverpool, which will again kick on and add to the value. And I feel FSG will sell when they're at the peak, when they feel like football is about to burst, the bubble's going to burst, or the valuations are going to come down, I think they'll hang on right till the death, unfortunately. I thought that now the stand is done, they should move on. Why are they still here? Because there's still money to be made. A good chunk of money to be made. Like, if you look at FSG, they've basically been paid back for Liverpool at this point. When they sold 11% to Redbird Capital of all of their investments, not just Liverpool, 12% or 11% of the portfolio, that basically gave them back the money for Liverpool Football Club that they paid to buy it. I think they got $500 million for that. And look, it wasn't just for Liverpool, it was for a little bit of the ownership of the Red Sox and so, but they certainly got their capital back. So right now, they're playing with free money, nearly. Ryan Kemp, welcome in, buddy. Thank you for joining Anfield Agenda FC. Appreciate you. Andrew Webb, thank you very much. Said, FSG are all talk with no action. Yes, all fur coat and no knickers is a phrase that we often used to use. And I can't stress this part enough, guys. But remember, this isn't just a transfer window we're talking about where we're hoping to add one or two. This was a rebuild. This was a big summer. A summer we'd been promised for a season and a half. A summer we'd been told that we'd been leaving no stone unturned for. That we were going to be ruthless. That we were going to go in, we were going to act efficiently, and we were going to get it done. But we haven't so far. And as the windows go on, it becomes more and more unlikely that we will see what we were told was going to happen. Sorry, one sec. The only way FSG goes if Klopp really is the hitman. So, another thing that annoys me about FSG is that we're running out of time with Kloppo. We're 3 years left, and that's it. He's gone then. It's very unlikely Klopp's going to extend it again because, he needs a break for his own well-being and health. So, I'll be so angry at FSG if they don't back the manager and give him the chance to really build this second side. Because that's how you judge the great managers, right? Your Sir Alex Ferguson, your Arsene Wenger's, the building of the second sides. And Klopp has a lot of the building blocks for this second team. Our forward line is tremendous. Like, we don't need to do anything there. Defensively, yes, of course, we need to add a centre-back or two. You can talk about a full-back addition as well in the future. But midfield, 8 players we've let leave the club with 2 in. Whatever way you dress that up, it doesn't give you the squad depth you need. Would I pay 100 million for Josko Gvardiol? No, I wouldn't. But I don't think you'd have to. I think the asking price is about £86 million. I think it's €100 million, if I'm not mistaken, mate. And I don't think he's an £86 million centre-back yet. He's a damn good centre-back. A very good centre-back. But we can't say that he hasn't got mistakes in him as well. He does. But I'll take him in a heartbeat. But I don't see €100 million football player there. Josh, thank you for your super chat, mate. How are we 50 minutes into this stream already? I feel like I've only started. Josh said, I'd rather us go for more experienced CDM than Lavia. I like the idea of Lavia, Thiago and Stefan as a CDM options. Could be huge risk. Sorry, he said I don't like the idea of Lavia, Thiago and Stefan. So, a name that has been brought up on the stream that I haven't touched on yet is, of course, the guy from Florentino Luis from Benfica. I would like to see Liverpool potentially go in there at somebody a little bit more experienced at 23 years of age and even pay that little premium because, yes, he's got a buyout clause that is absolutely ridiculous and we aren't going to pay, but I think that we could try and negotiate at least. Gvardiol or Colwill? So, I'd say Colwill, but I'm going to explain why, Pavan. Not because I don't rate Gvardiol, because Colwill will tick the homegrown box. I think will turn into, as Pochettino has said, a really top centre back, maybe one of the greatest England have produced in 15 or 20 years. That's how highly I think of him. Um, so I'd go for Colwell because we aren't bringing in a starting centre back for right now. We're looking for somebody to cover Virgil van Dijk and to rotate in. If we needed somebody to come in right now and be a centre back and play alongside Canade, then I'd go with Gvardiol. But the fact that we do luckily have that little bit of wiggle room, I'd go for the younger one. What is this with Fabinho and his dogs? Don't worry about that, Jack. You can forget about the dog thing. That's not the reason why this might not happen. I don't know what the reason is, Jack, but it isn't to do with his dogs. I mean, people keep saying Locatelli, and the reason I don't reply to a lot of the comments is because I can't reply to every comment about a player who there's been no links to or there's been no tracking of. I mean, yes, there are great centre backs out there at other clubs, and there are great players at other clubs. But I can't just say, oh, well, he'd be great, because ultimately, at the end of the day, it's just talk, it's waffle. I can only talk about the ones that, we know there's interest in. And me and you and all the other Liverpool fans wishing Liverpool to be interested in somebody, it's not going to make it happen. What do you think of Kwanzaa? So, Lee, I'm going to say before this pre-season, my knowledge on him was minuscule. But watching him, really impressed. There was a ball that he played yesterday from left to right towards Salah, which was exquisite. And you could have told me that was Virgil van Dijk that hit that, and I'd have believed it. So he looked very positive. But I've also remember when we had other young centre backs that looked really positive, like what's the dude's name? Who was the one that Klopp gave extra training to? This is the one. I go blank on every stream but one. What's his name? Comedio, Billy Comedio, and he hasn't kicked on at all. So I don't know if we can again put the faith in the young centre backs. Trey said, thanks for a good show. My wife's enjoying this broadcast. There's a joke there to be made, Trey. There's a joke. I'm going to hang off and wish you and your wife best, mate. And thank you for joining us. We need to buy a big player to make a statement. Yes, damn right. I'm with you, Anthony. 100%. 100%. Nothing wrong with acting like a big club every now and again. You're right. And, if Newcastle can go out there and bring in Sandro Tonali, why the hell can't Liverpool go out there to try and do a similar thing with the likes of a Barella? So I'm with you on that one. 100%. Ella said, got to the final stage of a job application after 8 years, could be leaving the airport. Oh! Let us know how you get on, Ella. And much love from all of us. We're wishing you well. Palace guy, too pricey. So which Palace guy? Are we talking about Decore or are we talking about the centre-back, Mark A? Decore, you know what? We say it's too pricey, but if you're looking at having to pay the 50 million that Southampton are asking, and, maybe they do hang off for it, I'd pay it. I'd pay the money for Gay, because Gay's ready to come in and play, or not Gay, excuse me, Decore is ready to come in and play right now. Like, right now. So, yes, pay that premium for somebody with Premier League experience that was Crystal Palace's player of the season. 100%. Love all the way from Kenya. Thank you. Love right back to you, my friend. It was Ali Abdallah Ali. Thank you very much. And love right back to you, mate. Sandro Tonali, a big name, really? Well, I don't know if you haven't watched much football, mate, but yes. Sandro Tonali is a big name. Sandro Tonali was a well-spoken about, well-regarded kid coming through at, I think, Brescia before he joined. So, yes, that's a good signing. A very good signing. A very big signing, in my opinion. So, yes, that's my take on it anyway. How do I buy tickets for the Sugar Club? I think you're trolling me, mate. Please don't be fucking trolling me, because this show's been breaking my heart. But I'll put the link in here if you do want to come to the Sugar Club. Yeah, it's going to be our only show this year. We're not going to do the Cardiff show because the Sugar Club numbers have been terrible to say the least, but we're going to do the show. We're going to enjoy the show. We're going to put on a great night, and we hope that you can come and join us. But we're not going to be doing Cardiff because we can't just set fire to money. So yeah, we had a meeting today. We decided to opt out of the Cardiff one until we grow the channel some more, and we feel like we can do those type of things. So right now it's Dublin. Learn from it, and that's the end of Anfield Agenda Live for the time being. But look, we're gonna have a fun night in Dublin one way or the other. Even if it's me and 10 people, which it isn't. We've sold more than that, but you get my point. Hello from the Snapper's house in Kilbarrack. How are we? Do you know what? In the Snapper, no, was it in the Snapper? Was it the Welcome Home Craig banner outside? Because our brother was called Craig, I believe, if my memory's right. Why so terrible in sales? I mean, you could look at that a number of reasons, mate. You can look at it that people just have no interest in coming to see me, which is absolutely fine. You could look at it that we haven't promoted the show well enough, which is possible. You can look at it that, people are struggling for a few quid. Absolutely possible. Obviously, from a pride perspective, I look at it and think, I think people just don't want to come see me, and I got ahead of myself, and I need to give myself a bit of a wobble. But whatever way, it doesn't change the outcome. The outcome is it's not worked, and that's okay. I'm somebody that's not afraid to fail, and we'll go again, we'll try again, and we'll be better next time. That's all you can do in life. Are we still interested in Kimmich? I would say yes, but I'm going to tell you what the player himself has said. He said, I'm very certain that I will play the coming season at FC Bayern. I have no other plans. So unfortunately, it's looking like he wants to dig his heels in and stay at Bayern, which is understandable. He's been at that club a long time, and he's a really good, important player from him. But yeah, I don't think Kimmich is going to be the one. So, one thing we've spoken about over the last week or so on the channel was the surprise signing, right? The stealth signing, the left field signing that the likes of Neil Jones mentioned, and Melissa Reddy said Liverpool love a stealth signing. I mean, are we holding out hope for that stealth signing? Because if the bid went in for Lavia, that would show the intention that Lavia is the one that they'd like. So I can't lie, I'm getting a little bit edgy, a little bit nervy about it. Dara O'Brien's better looking younger brother. I'll take it. I'll take it, Ryan, every day of the week, dude. Finally on a live. Good morning from Melbourne. I'd be at the Sugar Club if I was home in Dublin, said Stephen. I hope you're enjoying life in Melbourne, Stephen, my man. Great to have you on the live show with us. Much love to you over there. And thank you for your kind words. You good, Craig? Yeah, man, I'm always good. Always good to be on here chatting footy with you guys. You know that. When will you do the podcast? We're working on it. We're working on it. Now, I've been reliably informed that the people who were asking me about the audio up on Spotify, it's gone back up from now. It's gone up today, actually. Connor is back working now after his well-earned holiday. So yeah, the audio for the podcast stuff, not the actual podcast, but the audio from the streams will be going back up on the Spotify. So I know some of you guys had asked me what had happened to that over the past few weeks. The late night agenda is the best and has to give so much to us. Man, I love it. I look forward to this show all day to come on chat with you guys. I learn a lot on here about me as a person. I learn a lot about football. I learn a lot about opinions and stuff. So yeah, it's great. I love them. Have you ever been to Peterborough? I have not, but I definitely need to get over, right? Because, well, I need to show Darren McAnthony's team some love. He's been kind enough to come on and do some videos with us. One just last week, which was brilliant. I like Darren McAnthony. He's a really nice guy. So yeah, I hope to get over to Peterborough at some point and to see the city, of course, and of course to get to a game. Would you say that Liverpool could get a deal done for Lavia at around 40-45 million? Yeah, well, common sense would say yes, wouldn't it? Exotic Alpha, the selling club 150, We've gone in with 35 plus two and add-ons, 37. You know, looking at it objectively, you'd say there's a deal to be done somewhere here. You know, we're not a million miles apart. It's not like Liverpool went in with 20 and Southampton won 50. You know, we're in that range where you'd say it's possible. It's likely that we can find common ground. Now, there could be a little sweetener to be done here as well, and I'm only spitballing here. But, you know, a Tyler Morton in there as a replacement for Southampton, or a young Liverpool player to go in there, maybe Kwanzaa as an example. You know, maybe that'll be the difference, something like that. Keep advertising it. Oh, we definitely are, Nathan. We're going to do a few targeted ads, I think, maybe on Instagram over the next week or so, because if nothing else, I just want to see people in the live show for the fun, for interacting with people, to say thank you and watch. So look, I'm all good. I'm never afraid to fail, and I think, you know, it's important. I could have sat on this, said nothing, done the live show, came on, said thank you, pretended everything was great, but I'm honest, and I want you to know that it hasn't worked for us. That's okay. We don't drop our heads. We keep ploughing on because we've got work to do and we've got, you know, people to make proud. Nat Phillips in the deal. He looks like he's going to Leeds, mate, for 8.5 million, which I've said this so many times. I think that's a great fit for him and for Leeds. So we've got 15 minutes to go on tonight's stream. Whatever you want to ask, whatever you want to discuss for the last 15 minutes, please do put it into the chat. Also, if you guys haven't dropped a like on the video and hit that subscribe button, please do. It's great to be here with you again. Did you see that we signed Harvey Owen, 14 and a centre half? I love you said centre half, Mickey. That's real old school. I love anyone using those, like outside left, inside right, left centre half. I love it. So, no, I hadn't heard actually. I spent my whole day today dealing with a little bit of issues with our dogs. At one point, my French bulldog's just turning 1, and he's starting to attack our smaller dog a bit. So we had to deal with that today. Obviously, make sure that the dogs were okay. Then I had a meeting with the lads. Then we were talking about the live shows. Then we were going into the news story. So yeah, it's been a busy day. Do we still have the dancing alien? Yeah, we do. There he is. A little bit of Nulon. Always going to have him. He's the little mascot. I love Nulon. I think his real name is like Harold the Alien or something like that. But yeah, we called him Nulon. JZKE, thank you for the super chat, mate. You didn't put a comment in, but appreciate you. I'd like Gravenberts. What's your opinion? Said Alex Cooper. I don't rate Gravenberch that much. And I think I'm in the minority on that, and that's okay. But nothing I've seen of him when I've watched him, be it at the Euros or playing for Ajax, I've never been convinced that he's got the right mentality more than anything else. And it's another weird one because we know he's available. We know what he would cost. We know he has an agreement with Ajax that he's allowed to move on. Or was that Timber? Might be confused on that agreement. But either way, he's available. And we could get him for 20, 25 million. But I'm going to say what I said at the start of this stream. Why on earth is this taking so long? Because these aren't the left field signings. These are the ones we knew that Liverpool were looking at. Lavia, we knew we were looking at 5-6 weeks ago. Why now only put the offer in? Hello from Orlando, Florida. How are we, mate? Nice to see you. Fabinho staying ain't a bad thing. I don't think he does stay, in all honesty, Maddie. I think whether this gets resolved or whether he goes to Bayern, I do think he moves. I'm not against them staying, as you've said. If you brought in a Lavia and had a Fabinho, I'd feel a lot more comfortable because we'd still have that bit of experience going into the season. Like, even if we get an agreement for Lavia and we sign him tomorrow, let's say, I have questions of, is that enough for us to go into the season with, experience-wise? You won't get your French Bulldog into Saudi, Craig. I have no plans to move to Saudi Arabia. Spain, yes, in a few years, but not Saudi Arabia. Maybe on a holiday at some point, but definitely not going to be moving that far away. Rabadan, thank you for the super chat. Well, the midfield has been the most important to resolve. The defence also needed strengthening. I don't trust Matip and Gomez to deliver what we need. Nor do I, mate. Which is, I said this yesterday. I read the Echo's player ratings from the game yesterday. And Ian Doyle wrote something to the tune of Gomez was solid at right back or grew into the game or something like that. And I just thought, did you watch the game? Gomez was crap. Matip was pants. Matip was too lightweight. Matip was too lackadaisical. Matip didn't look interested. Kwanzaa was better than both of them. So yeah, I agree with you. Their bodies, they cover at right back if needs be, but they're not bodies that we could go in against Manchester United, Manchester City, and feel comfortable winning the game for me, based on what we're seeing. 100% agree with you on that one. What's the latest on Thiago? Barcelona have cooled the interest, but there was talk yesterday of Real Sociedad. I want to say Sevilla, but I might be wrong. And then 2 offers from the likes of Turkey and somewhere else. Did you guys see, actually, on a slightly different note, that Wilf Zaha has signed for Galatasaray? And I want to just take a minute to give him his props here, because he could have taken a far more lucrative deal to go to Saudi. And in fact, I think could have had a more lucrative deal to stay at Crystal Palace, because I think they offered him in excess of 200 grand a week to stay. And based off what I've read, he's on about 160 grand a week at Galatasaray. So fair play to him for challenging himself, for moving to a new league. And I tell you what, there are many great countries to watch and support football, but Turkey love their football. And I think he'll enjoy his time at Galatasaray, and I think he'll do really well. So fair play to him, wishing them all the best. Craig, could we copy Man City by having Trent playing the John Stones role, or would that be too complicated for Trent? Well, what Trent's doing now is quite good, the King, isn't it? You know, we're getting the best of both worlds here. We're getting Trent being able to be in right back when we're in defensive positions, or at least to drop back in to play centrally, and maybe Canada goes over to the right side when we're defending. And then when we're in transition, very quickly goes into the centre. Now, what impressed me has been Connor Bradley. And I don't know if we've spoken about Connor Bradley enough. I've been really impressed with the young man. You know, I've seen 2 halves of football from him and 2 halves of football from Kostas Tsimikas doing the same things. Connor Bradley filling in at right back into the second number 6 role, and then Kostas in the second half filling in from left back into the number 6 role. And I know which one was better. It was 100% the youngster, the 20-year-old, inexperienced right back, was far better. So I don't know what we do with Bradley, because he deserves to play, but I think he's been brilliant. I do. I really think Connor Bradley has been very, very good. What are your thoughts on Sadio Mane to Al Nassr? So I've got 2 thoughts on it. One of them is that it hasn't worked for him in Germany. Don't know the reason. Don't know if it's down to him. Don't know if it's down to Bayern. Don't know. So from that perspective, when you've got the wage that he has at Bayern Munich and you want to keep that wage, there's a very limited amount of clubs that would be able to come in for you at this point in your career and pay the money you're on. So Saudi as an option makes sense from that regard. But there's also the shithouse in me that remembers his agent speaking about him going to a club where he's going to be loved. Remember that when he was leaving Liverpool? How's that worked out? Grass isn't always green, bud. You know, at Liverpool, you were loved. You might not feel you were loved enough. You might feel you played second fiddle to Mo at times, but we loved you a lot more than you've been getting at Bayern. So I think it's just another example of players appreciating sometimes what they have and not trying to have little slide digs on the way out. Do you rate Decore? Yes. Yes. I do. Very much so. But I have looked into him a lot more over the past weeks. And if you asked me that question A month ago, my answer probably would have been, don't know much about him. But yes, he's been very good since his move from Lens, and I'd pay it because you're getting somebody you can drop straight in. You know, if the club have gotten to Lavia's valuation in their own heads and they don't want to go higher, then I'd have no problem with them putting that extra 10 or 15 million to get somebody who could come in and play from tomorrow, right now, drop them in, experience in the Premier League. Yeah, so for me, yes, I do rate him, and yes, I would be happy if Liverpool bought him. What do you think of Elise? Really good, really, really good. We just don't need him. We link the Kudus from Ajax. No, but you know what I seen today that I thought was very, very weird? I'm sure I read an article that said Manchester United are potentially going to turn to Kudus if they can't get Højbjerg. Not Højbjerg, what's his name? Whatever they do, his name from Atalanta is the youngster. Weird, like bit of a change of direction there from like an attacking mid to from an out and out striker. So, you know, apparently they're asking 87 million or whatever for the kid from Atalanta. And United are only willing to go to 60. So, you know, it's a bit of a change in direction on that one. Hoyland, yeah, that's the kid, sorry. Who would you sign for Liverpool signing? Barella, the Correa I would go in with, yeah. I'd love to see it. Look, if it was me, I'd be trying to get Gvardiol unless he's absolutely nailed on. Colwill, if he's available. Gay from Crystal Palace, again, not a bad option. I don't know enough about Inacio from Sporting to really say yes or no. Is there any news on Varady? No. Nor do I want Liverpool to sign Varady. We don't need more injury-prone players. He's a wonderful football player, but he's got a lot of injury concerns, and he's 30 years of age, and they want 40 million quid for him. Doesn't make sense. Who do you want to be the experienced midfielder after Amrabat and Kimmich rejections? Well, that's why I think the Decore thing could work, because you don't need the inexperienced player then. You can talk about another body being needed, but if you went and signed Decore and you wanted another body, you could look at Thuram again. And there's your younger player to bring through. Any news on Gabri Veiga? I think the idea of him to Liverpool is dead in the water. We've signed Szoboszlai, we've signed McAllister. I don't think we need another number 10 type player. Barella is not a DM though. No, he's not a natural DM. Doesn't mean he can't become one. Doesn't mean he can play in there alongside Trent. Excuse me. And just think of the range of passing that we'd have from Trent and him sitting in that deeper role. But Kone is another option. Again, depending on his injury. You'd have to wait and see there. So look, my friends, we're getting towards the end of tonight's stream. I'm going to leave this ad up as I say my goodbyes. If you would like to come and see us in the Sugar Club in Dublin, you can still get your tickets, of course, because, yeah. And there's the link in the chat if you want to come. It's an over 18s event. I did see somebody asking what age you had to be. You have to be 18 years or over. That's the venue's decision, not mine. So yeah, Kone would be another example of a potential player you could get in, but, you know, I don't know what this situation is with his injury. Can you tell me the Lavia news? Yes, so John, we had a £35 million offer with 35 million with 2 million in add-ons. We had that rejected by Southampton. The belief is Liverpool will go in with a second offer. Southampton are sticking to their 50 million valuation. I don't know after that. I don't know what the number will be to get it done, but we're not in the realms of stupidity. You know, we're not a million miles apart, so you'd hope that they can get it done. Great channel from USA. Thank you, bud. Much love to you, 65 Football, and I hope you're enjoying life over there in the US of A. So look, tomorrow, no bad language, is there? And the live show, oh God, yes, loads of it. I'm trying to break the record for the venue swearing in one night, mate. I'm not even joking. So look, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Same time, same place. Hopefully we've got more updates for you. Appreciate the shit out of you all as always. Much love to you, your families. I hope you're all well. And yeah, thank you for some fun